Transforming type in Photoshop. This week's lesson will cover how to modify type using a bounding box, creating warp type with a unique shape, being able to screen back type with imagery, and to create a faded type effect. The tools that we will be covering are, of course, the text tool or the type tool, letter T. The shortcut for this is T. We're going to cover the move tool, so remember the move tool is one of our main tools to move items around. We also will be looking at warps. So the warp text dialog box, when I have my type tool active, up here in the options bar I have specific settings or options for the type tool, and we have a warped text, so we will be looking at that, along with how to utilize our layers panel to organize what we are doing. Now note that type is not usually the primary focus of a Photoshop image. Photoshop really is an image manipulation tool, but we can incorporate type. So it can be an important element when we're trying to convey a message. How do we modify type? Again, making changes up here when I have my text tool active. I can make changes such as the font style, the font size, the aliasing, the alignment, the color. Here again is the warp. We also have the ability to bring up our character and paragraph panels. Now when I have the move tool active, here we go, I can choose to show transform controls. If I turn that off, notice that the box around the type disappears. When I have it turned on, I get that box. This is the bounding box. So I can take my vector type and I can go ahead and distort it in this method. By clicking an angle here, I can vertically or horizontally move it or size it, scale it. I can rotate it here as well. So I'm looking at my cursor, those little handles, and what it is doing. So I can drag the handles on the type's bounding box to get those transform controls. I can do the other transform controls available up here under Edit. Now, of course, I have to check OK to apply this. Under Edit, I do have some other transform options. All of them, with the exception of Distort and Perspective, are available. Distort and Perspective require that text be rasterized or converted from vector into pixels. When I do the warps, so back up here, I'm going to go back to my type tool and click on this warp. We have some options here as far as the styles, which we'll cover in more detail. So I do not have to rasterize the type in order to apply a warp, and this distort will distort the type to conform to a certain specific shape that you can see here. We'll also look at how we can fade text back, and we can do that with the help of the gradient tool, and how we can screen back some of our text, making image visible, the imagery visible through my type layer. So adding special effects to type really does change the mood, the style, and the message of the content.